Well, if for nothing else, I now know why Barry Allen was freaking out in Justice League when they were talking about bringing Superman back to life.
But we mean bring him back in like a yay, he's back way, not in like a Pet Sematary scenario.
Now I know. Pet Sematary. I keep seeing horror movies. So Pet Sematary is a new horror movie based off a Stephen King book. It's also technically a remake of the old movie that came out back in, what was it, 89? No, I have not read the book or seen the movie. And actually, I didn't even know that much about the plot before I saw this one. I mean, I saw the trailers, but the trailers were pretty vague. Basically, it's this family that moves into a new house in Maine, because that's where Stephen King's stories are based, because that's where he's from. This new house is in the middle of the woods, and in these woods, there's this pet cemetery. And in this cemetery, if you bury something there, it will come back to life, but as like a zombie, you know, really weird. And from there, we have our scary movie. And I mean it, this movie scared the hell out of me. It did, okay? I'm not that into horror movies. I've not seen a lot of them. This is probably the scariest scary movie I've ever seen on the big screen. And I'll dive more into that a little later, but first let's touch on the acting, because all around I thought it was great. Jason Clarke was really good. He's the father, the main character of the movie pretty much. Louis Creed is the character's name. His wife, Rachel, I don't remember the actress's name, but the face looks so familiar. Throughout the entire movie, it was killing me. I was like, I'd seen that face before. Somewhere. She looks like if Carrie Russell and Rose Leslie had a kid. So I looked it up afterwards. She was an Alien Covenant. That's what I knew her from, so she's a horror veteran. She was really good in this movie. Her character has kind of a backstory that I'm not going to dive into. It would be kind of spoiling it, but I totally bought it. You know, she's freaked out of her mind, and I felt bad for her. What can I say? Her backstory kind of hit home for me. John Lithgow's really good. John Lithgow was a great actor. We all know this. I know him from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, How I Met Your Mother, and the voice of Lord Farquaad in Shrek. I'm sure he's been in a lot more than that, but that's how I know he's a really good actor. And the little girl in this movie is also really good. Like, really, really good. Like, there's a point where this character kind of takes the spotlight, and she pulls it off. She does a really good job. So yeah, the acting all around, really good. Now getting back to the horror element of this movie, the very last movie I reviewed was Us. And in that review, I said there are two kinds of horror movies. The first kind is where it's more about the characters. The scary is the byproduct of the story. That's the good kind of horror movie, like It. But the second kind of horror movie is the kind that I don't like as much, and that's the kind where it's more about being scary than about the characters. And unfortunately, I felt Pet Sematary falls into that second category. And that's where the dividing factor comes in. If you like that sensation of fear and, you know, movies being scary just cuz, then you're probably gonna love this movie. Myself, not so much, because I don't like being scared by movies. I swear for like half the movie, maybe even more than that, I was like covering up my face and going like this, because I didn't want that jump scare to get me. I get it, they're cheap scares, you know, they're just ooh, gotcha. I don't like that, not because they don't get me, not because they're cheap, but because they do get me, because I'm like, damn it, stop, don't do that. I don't like that sensation. I fall for it. Whether it's just a random truck going by in the street, like it'll be silent and then all of a sudden a truck will go by and it's like, oh, gee, stop it. Or it's that cat. That is a scary cat. The cat's name is Church in this movie, and can you tell how affected I am from this movie? Which means the movie did a good job, so props to that. I'm just saying, I don't think I can ever look at cats the same way again. I mean, I'm still looking forward to the Cats movie, but now I have that filter of cats can be scary. I never thought cats could be scary, even after watching Captain Marvel. I'm just saying. The score in this movie was done by Christopher Young, who I know from doing Ghost Rider and Spider-Man 3, both of which I thought had actually pretty good scores. But I know that Christopher Young has done a lot of horror movies in his day, and it shows in this movie. I feel like he's really in his element here, because the score also succeeded in scaring the fuck out of me. A lot of ambient, creepy effects in the music that and it was in the surround speakers in the theater, and I was like, oh god, what's going on? Jacket. I was wearing a jacket when I was watching this movie. Jacket, protect me. So the movie succeeded in being scary, but I felt like that was the point of the movie. Like, yeah, sure, there was a story with characters, and I cared about the characters enough, but I felt like the horror elements of that outweighed the actual story and the characters. And again, that's where the dividing factor comes in. If you like that stuff, then this is your utopia, my friend. But personally, for me, not a fan. It was like Get Out, where the movie succeeded in what it did very well. It's just not my kind of thing. You honestly can't blame me for that, can you? So in the end, Pet Sematary had really good acting, and the horror was really good, but I felt it outweighed the story. Which is a bummer, because I felt the story was pretty good. So for Pet Sematary, I will say, wait until this movie's at a discount theater, then go see it. I feel like we should have gotten the first trailer for It Chapter 2 with this movie. That would have been perfect. We are due for it. It's April. It's time for that trailer to come out. Oh well, we got the Joker trailer. That looks pretty cool. So Pet Sematary, the remake, have you seen it? What did you think about it compared to the original or the book? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.